to talk about this. This is going to be the last topic of this podcast, but I really wanted to talk about this because I found out about this yesterday. And me being a person currently in Texas as of right now, it was kind of shocking that I heard about this news yesterday. And that's Texas court passing a law that will ban gender affirming care for minors, including puberty blockers and hormone therapy. Any healthcare provider who offers this will get their license revoked, and is going in effect today as I am recording this video. Exceptions are made for kids who have already been receiving treatment before June 1st. However, they're going to have to gradually stop taking the medicine. And with that in mind, eventually they're supposedly supposed to stop taking the medicine, which 9 times out of 10 they might not stop taking the medicine. They're going to keep on taking the medicine. But Texas, everything that has been going on in Texas, I feel like with them passing that law, I feel like they're worried about the wrong thing in Texas. Worried about the wrong thing in Texas. I feel like minors, kids should be able to do whatever they want. I feel like anyone should do whatever they want to do to their body, whether that's transition to a girl or vice versa, or just get anything to their body, whatever it is. Yeah, that can be dangerous, but if that's what they want to do, let them do it. You got kids out here that identify themselves as a female or a male growing up, and that's what they're comfortable as. And the fact that they can't transition, make that full transition until they're 18 years old, I just feel like that's dumb. Like, you are basically controlling what these people can do to their bodies. You got Texas already banning abortions for females, so females can't have abortions, and you never know what could potentially go on with these females. They could potentially get raped. Something could happen and they get raped, but they have to have the kid because in Texas they're banning abortions. You got school shootings in Texas happening every other year, it feels like, with the incident that happened in Santa Fe. You had one in Uvalde. You had one close to Dallas. Like, and the security is, nothing is changing. Like, when is that going to stop? When are we going to talk about laws on having a weapon at 18 and getting these guns at these ages, not having a permit? You got to fix those laws. Those are the biggest laws. How did Texas last year have more homicides than Chicago? And Chicago is known for homicides. They're known for having the highest amount of homicides per year. But Houston had more than them. You're too focused on, I feel like, something that's so minor when the big picture is all the killings that has been happening in Texas, specifically Houston. But Texas as a whole, I mean, it counts towards the state. Like I said, you have school shootings happening every other year, and nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. The security, it feels like it's still, yeah, they're tightening up, but I mean, 3 school shootings that has happened in the past, 3 years, it feels like. All of these homicides that are happening, kids getting guns, adults getting guns, like young adults, getting these guns whenever they can. They don't need a permit. They don't need none of that. And it's causing for these family members to have to grieve over deaths and stuff like that. But nothing is changing about that. Nothing is changing about getting a gun at a certain age. It's so easy to get a gun. It's literally not hard in the state of Texas. But you got all of these other laws like alcohol, like drugs, and all of these things that you have to have a certain age for. But guns, it just seems like you could just get one just like that. So with them passing this type of law that is affecting how people want to identify themselves in the future, because you never know, that person could go to school and they could get bullied because of that. But you're trying to change that law when the bigger picture is about making the community come together, making everyone come together, not having these homicides for what it feels like every single day, not having parents grieve and stuff like that. You don't want none of that. You your state to be a peaceful place. And with all of these school shootings and all of these shootings happening, it's not going to solve it. Like, it's so sad because me personally, I want people to be able to do what you want to do to your body. I support that community. I support everything about that. I don't have no issue towards it whatsoever. If that's what you want to do it. You shouldn't have to not be allowed to do it based on law. It just feels like you're kind of limiting what a person can do if that's what they want to do. Versus the bigger picture, you're not really solving. You're not trying to fix it. There's no effort to try and fix it. You're trying to make these little laws come in effect to affect a certain type of community, but you're not getting the big picture and you're not trying to help the bigger picture, because that type of community is a small community compared to a, I guess, what you want to say, a regular community, should I say, a normal community, I guess. I don't know what's the word I want to use, but that type of community is way smaller. So the fact that you're trying to attack the community that are trying to transition to a male or transition to a female while people are getting killed, it's a problem. I feel like that should be the least of the worries. You got to look at the big picture. What's the issue on a person trying to make that transition at a young age? There's no issue, in my opinion, towards it. No issue, in my opinion. If that's what they want to do, let them do it. They could be in school getting bullied. You just never know. Because I personally believe, like, I mean, that's in your hormones. If that's what you want to be, your hormones can cause that. Or you being around a certain community, that can cause you to want to make that transition to be a girl or to be a boy. It's multiple factors that come in regards to if you want to do that. It's not just anything bad. It's not anything that's harming someone. It may be harming you if that's not what you support, but that doesn't mean that you have to come in and make a law and try to get rid of it just because you don't like it. I feel like they should be able to do what they want with their bodies, do whatever. They're protected. Make a law so that way they're protected. Women getting these abortion laws, and now in Texas you can't get no abortions. Like, how do they feel? You never know. There's so many occasions where someone can get raped, the female can get raped, and they gotta have the baby because of the simple fact it's by law in Texas. And that's so sad because that happens way more than you might think. But there's states elsewhere that don't have that law. You can still have abortions. Every circumstance is different. Someone could be going through something that another person might. But it doesn't mean that you should change a whole law to where you can't do it no more. If that's what they want to identify themselves as, let them identify themselves as that. Because their circumstance might be different. Obviously, their circumstance might be different if they want to make that transition because they don't feel like themselves. They don't feel comfortable. So they want to make that transition so that way they can be identified and that way they can feel comfortable. Yeah, there's going to be people that don't support it. But there's going to be some people that also be like, hey, do you. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But it shouldn't be to the point to where a law has to come in that completely stops it. Same with abortions. Every single case is different. Yeah, you got some that just do it just to kill the baby. But you also got some that do it just because they got raped and something happened and now they don't want to have the baby because that ended up happening to them. Every case is different. You want to pass laws to ban that, but when it comes to all these school shootings and these young adults, young kids getting weapons, you don't want to pass nothing about that to the point to where You can get a weapon in Texas without a permit. And I just feel like that's sickening that you want to pass those laws to ban the small things, but when the main problem not only in Texas but really everywhere is the homicides, but you don't want to fix that issue. You don't want to fix that issue. And like I said, it's so sad for minors because all of that stuff in regards to you wanting to make that transition really starts when you're a minor. And it gets even worse when you're a teenager, because when you reach your teenage years, you see a whole lot of stuff that influence you to do certain things. Teenage years is about learning and seeing new things. So the fact that you're banning the law, and that's when your hormones really get serious throughout your teenage years. Now it's like they have to wait till they're 18, and you never know, like they could be getting bullied or something could end up happening. But since they gotta wait till 18, they just gotta deal with it. And that's so sad in Texas. Worry about the bigger picture. Think big. If that's what they want to do, okay, that's what they want to do. But the fact that you ban that thing versus changing a law about a weapon or something in regards to the bigger picture and the bigger problems in the world is a problem. Fix the bigger pictures and don't try and pass a law that only affects a community, but it doesn't really affect you. Is an opinion. You not liking someone because of what they are, that's opinionated. You don't support that community, that's your opinion. If you support that community, that's your opinion. But it shouldn't come to a point to where a law has to be passed. Houston having the most homicides, having more homicides than Chicago, that's a fact. That's a fact last year. But you don't want to change a law that is a fact, that has factual information behind it, but you want to pass a law of something that's more so opinionated. I don't like that. I feel like they should not have changed that law. They should not have done anything to it. If that's what they want to do, just let them do that. But since the law is passed, there's nothing that they can do now. It's passed now. So if something happens maybe to where they can change the law, then maybe. But since that community is small compared to the normal community or the world, should I say, it'll be hard for them to change that law and get that law changed, especially in Texas. Maybe if it was in another state, but since this is Texas, it's going to be very, very difficult to get those laws changed. Because once something is done in Texas, it's done. It is done. So, with that in mind, it's just very sad to me, I feel like. Because I'm more so on their side. Because I want them to do whatever they want. It doesn't affect me. I will support whatever they do. That's just not me. But I will most definitely support what they do. Because that's what they want to do. Just let them be. It doesn't have no effect towards me. But the fact that the law got passed, I feel like based off opinions and how a certain community might not like that community, I feel like it was more opinionated on how it got passed, on why it got passed, should I say. But it's just something that you have to deal with. Like I said, with the Roe versus Wade and the abortions, all of that, you just never know. Each case is different. So I really want to know how this is going to affect that community with kids or if you have kids and they want to grow up to be, I guess, that and make that transition and you're in Texas, how that'll affect them and you. So that'll be very interesting.